Hello, Know the Bird here. In this video, I am going to be showing you how you can rekey the Kwikset SmartKey if you do not have the original key. So, if you're not familiar with this, Kwikset makes a plug smart key that's really easy to rekey on your own. This is the original key for this lock, and you can see I can put the key in and turn it. This is not the correct key for the lock. If I put it in, can't turn it. If I wanted to rekey this, I would insert the original key, can rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. And then I just take something and they make a specific tool for it, and insert a key change tool that goes in that gap right there. You don't need a real special tool though. Anything straight that'll fit in there will work. I'm going to use this little curve pick from Tools Necessary 9 lock picks. I can just push in there till I hear a click. Then you can remove the original key, put in the new key, and the lock's rekeyed. Really simple. Change it back. You can see the original key no longer works. And we can change it back real quick too. Okay. So that's how it's supposed to work if you have the original key. Real easy and straightforward. But maybe you bought this lock on eBay and it didn't come with the original keys. Maybe you got it at a thrift store or restore and it's missing those original keys. And you want to know, how can I rekey it? So you do need to be able to turn the plug, and we'll show you how you can do that if the lock's disassembled like this. If it's installed on a door, and you don't have access to take the door apart, if it's on a locked door on a house, the plug does need to be turned to rekey it. Otherwise, it'd be a pretty big security risk if somebody could just come up to the front door and rekey it without the original key. So you do need to either be able to unlock it in some way, whether that's lockpicking or decoding, or be able to disassemble the lock off the door into this position. If you're a locksmith, I think it runs around $200 or $300, there's a tool for visually decoding the sliders inside this lock. And I would say with as popular as these are getting, for a locksmith, that's probably a pretty good investment. And it lets you decode the slider positions so you can cut a new key right there that'll work for the lock. It is possible to pick these locks. The newest generation of them requires you to put a shim between the plug and the housing here. In my experience, that shim damages the plug slightly in a visible way and would likely scratch the finish on the housing here. There may be people that have been able to do it. There's a variety of tolerances on these locks, so it may not apply to everyone. But I think in a lot of them, there's risk to scratching and damaging the face of the lock. So you may not want to approach it that way either. We don't need to do it from the front though. We can take the lock apart and that'll make it easier to put the new keying in. So to do that, I'm going to assume that you've already gotten it off the door, that you've taken out the two main screws, and you're down to this position here. Once you've got it in this spot, we're just going to take off this retaining clip right here. It's very loose on mine. It might be harder to do on yours. You might need a screwdriver or something like that. And then you should be able to push the plug out. If you have trouble pushing the plug out, you can remove any other retaining clips. Excuse me. The retaining clip on this one's super loose. All the retaining clips on this one are real loose, so they'll come off pretty easy. At this point, you can see here, this is the main plug and its shell right there. And if you look at these right here, these are the different sliders that are moved when you put in the correct key. So just to show you, for example, if you were to put in the correct key, how those all move to the same height there. When they're all at the same height, the sidebar can go in and it can rotate. If you were to look at this here, they're not actually at the correct heights now, they're at different heights. And if you were to measure it, you could actually tell what the correct key is from those positions. And that's what the optical tool for a locksmith does, is it lets you look in there and look at those slider positions so you can make your own key. To get this to open without the original key, we want to get those all to the same height. I've got a tool here to help me doing it. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can press down on the sidebar, and then you can push down on these sliders individually with the pick. It's kind of a little game of whack-a-mole, but you keep doing that until you get them all at a correct height, which may take you a few tries. I don't know if that's it there. Nope. Yeah, you can see it's definitely a little bit of a whack-a-mole game. Get it there? Nope. Nope, still got one too high here. Maybe that's good. Yep, there we go. So there you can see we played the whack-a-mole game, and now we can rotate the plug. That's one way of doing it, and you can do that. It doesn't require any special tools, just your finger and a pick that you can push down on them with. An alternative, if you plan on doing this regularly, or maybe you're a locksmith, is to make yourself something like this. Just basically, it's almost like a comb pick. It's just 5 equally spaced points that you can use to push those sliders up. And if we use this, we can do the same thing, and it's a little bit easier. Just like that. It automatically, all we need to do is evenly space them, make sure it's at the same height. And you can see we could rotate that pretty quick. Do that one more time. Just like that, pretty easy. So if you plan on doing this regularly, making something like this can come in handy. Once you've got it rotated like this, you can rekey it real easy. You could just drop it. Excuse me. It doesn't want to go in because this titanium clip sort of grinds just slightly, so we'll take it off for a second. I'm putting this in upside down. There we go. Okay, so here you can see I've got it slightly offset. At this point, I can put any key I wanted in. Just slide the new key in. Oh, excuse me. Before you do that, use this to set down that pushing the bar. Then you can set your new key in, and you've got it rekeyed. That's one way of doing it. That's probably the easiest way of doing it, I think. But we can also, just to sort of elaborate a little bit more and give you a little more detail, we'll go ahead and take it apart and show you another way. But yeah, generally speaking, the easiest way is going to be that. Once you've got it turned at this point, just press in that till you hear the click. Insert your new key, whatever it may be, and rotate it back. And then you can see they're all set at the correct height when we rotate back. And we can remove this, and they're rekeyed. All right, so what's the other way we can do? Excuse me, one sec. So the other way we can do it is we can actually just take this apart, and maybe you were taking it apart, maybe you wanted to look at it a little bit closer, understand how the lock worked a little bit more. So if you want to do that, when you're pulling the plug out, just be careful, keep an eye open. You'll see this ball bearing on this side, right here, and you'll see a little bar there. As you're pulling it out, just put your thumb on that bar, and slowly lift up on that bar. That's the side bar. And you'll see the sliders want to slightly slide down there, but you just want to make sure this side bar doesn't shoot off on you. And if we wanted to rekey it here, we can just take off, and you can actually, if you do this upside down, pieces won't fall apart on you as much. You can just take it off, slowly rock it out, and there you can see the sliders there. This is the inside of the lock. I'll, put this down. So this is the part the key interacts with here. Looks like we got a little piece of aluminum from our comb pick inside there. It's not ideal. Excuse me. Yeah. So there you can see the different key pins that are pushed down by the springs. This plastic cover just holds the springs in. I would not recommend taking it apart. There's not much more to see inside there, but it will be it could be very difficult to get this back on there. You may lose springs and you may break your lock. So if you want to change the keying here, you can just insert whatever key you want. You'll see the different heights get set there. You can just put that down for a second, and you can come back to your... I'm not sure what this piece is called, but you come back to it. That contains your sliders. And then you just line up your sliders with this notch on the side right here. Just like that. Make sure they're all lined up. Once you've got them all lined up, you're just going to rock this right back into place. Just like that. If you look on the left side there, there's a spring on the left. You want to make sure that that's set well so it doesn't slide out later. Just like that. You'll know you've done it correctly if when you place in the sidebar, you can press it all the way down. If you can't press it all the way down, then there is still some of these sliders are not at the correct height. So I, in this case, can't press it all the way down. I can even see which one it is. It's the one on the far left. So I'm going to just nudge it up a little bit. And now I can press my sidebar all the way down. This tells me I've got them at the right heights. I can put it back in here. Close it up. If I take the key out, I can put the key back in, confirm that it's working. I can pull the key out, and now it's rekeyed for these. Slide it back in here and attach all the different washers and retaining clips again. And the lock's rekeyed for these. Original key doesn't work. And at this point, we can continue to use the original keying system, rekeying system. Didn't push down hard enough. Yep, and rekey it back to the original. You can see those don't work anymore, and the original does. So there's a few different ways you can rekey your Kwikset SmartKey without the original key. I think these are pretty neat locks. You can pick them up at most local hardware stores nowadays, Lowe's and Home Depot. They're relatively inexpensive compared to what some of the competitors are offering, I think. Especially with the fact that you can rekey them on your own, make all the locks in your house, use the same key, change them up, update them pretty quickly. They make some variations of this that have like renter versions where they have multiple plugs in them. There's a lot of different options for them. And if you're a locksmith, yeah, I'd definitely recommend investing in that visual decoder. There's a lot of these on the market these days. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know in the comments below. And thank you all for watching. I hope that was helpful. Take care.